Hello, welcome. This is a brief message for our youth group. We are the Hispanic Presbyterian Church of Paterson, New Jersey, and I am Maria Santa, the lay pastor.
And I'm Natalia Cruz, one of the youth group leaders.
And today's message, we are recording it in the area of our sanctuary where we would usually have the youth choir. This is where they sit and sing, and our congregation has the pleasure of enjoying their participation, their singing, and during our worship. So we miss you here. This is not the same, of course, without you. We don't have a choir right now. But today we do have a brief message for you, and we're going to talk a little bit about weaknesses, right? I know you are all very strong young people. The first thing that makes you strong is the power that God has put in you to be who you are, to succeed, to make your choices, and to live your life. But we are human beings, and because we are human, we all have weaknesses. And I would like to define a weakness not as something that is not positive, right? Weakness is actually an opportunity for us to become better and stronger in one area of our life where we may feel that we need to be better and stronger. So for example, a weakness that I have, I know that I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. I like things to be done a certain way. I put high expectations on others and on myself. And another weakness that I have, I think has to do with the fact that I love to eat sweet stuff. And I'm trying to lose weight. And because I have that weakness, I find it harder to lose weight because I love chocolate and ice cream and all things that are sweet. And so that is some work that I have to do with myself, some discipline that I have to apply to myself to overcome that weakness. That doesn't make me a bad person or doesn't make me a person that has no strength, but it gives me an opportunity to work on myself, to better myself, and to become stronger in those two areas. I should be less of a perfectionist because, that makes me, a little impatient at times, and I should control my love of sweets if I want to lose weight.
I have no weaknesses. No, just kidding. I have a similar weakness to my mother. Hers is just sweets. Mine is like all food. I just love food. I'm a foodie. You guys know I went to school to be a chef, so I just adore food too much. So I need to balance that out. But a weakness that I definitely feel I still have it, but I've gotten better at is public speaking and being in front of a crowd. Some of you now in school, maybe not now, but we'll have to stand up in front of the class and give a presentation, or even through Zoom now, or Google Meet, whatever you're using, you have to present through the computer and talk. And for me, especially middle school and high school, it was terrifying. Like I would be frozen, I would forget my place on my cue cards, on my paper, whatever I was reading. And that for me was my weakness. One-on-one, no problem. Family and friends, no problem. But when I felt that judgment was coming, shut down. Why do I say I've gotten better in that weakness? I still get nervous standing in front of a big crowd to speak, but I do have to say that church helped me a lot. Lily, our old pastor, she started by having me join the choir, playing the piano when our pianist was absent, kind of putting me in the situations that I had to do it, and it slowly but surely chipped away at that weakness. It's still there. It's always, I think, gonna be there, but little by little, that helped me. Teaching Zumba helped me because at least then I don't have to talk, but people are all looking at me. I have to perform and have to do it in a way that people can follow what I want them to do. So all of those things that I've learned have helped me in my weakness, but it's not fully gone because crowds, no thank you.
So you heard Natalia say that church helped her in strengthening that area that she felt she was weak in, which is, speaking in public. And so that is one of the main functions of church, right? It is a place where we come to strengthen our weaknesses, to become stronger in those areas that maybe make us a little insecure. And so church is a great place to develop a lot of skills. And God brings us here, God brings us to church because he's working with us and he works through us. And church is a place where he knows you are going to be surrounded by people that accept you just how you are, no matter what. They are here to love you, support you, take care of you, walk with you through those times that maybe are a little difficult for you, and also pray with you and for you when you need to feel stronger. And here you can develop a lot of those areas that you still feel a little insecure in. Now, I want to relate to you, and we're going to talk a little bit about a Bible character who was a man that had all the strength, the physical strength that a man could have and then some. I know that in our lessons, when you've come to the lessons, we talked about this figure, and this is Samson. Samson is known as a man that had strength like no other. He could tear down a building with his bare hands. He could dominate animals with his bare hands. He was very strong physically, and Samson had been chosen by God for a specific purpose. And his mother had raised him in a way, he was called a Nazarene. A Nazarene was a man that was raised eating only certain things. He could not cut his hair ever. So he grew up, and as a man, he had a very long mane of hair. And everyone believed, and he knew that his physical strength was tied to the length of his hair. And so he had been raised to always be moving in the Spirit of the Lord. And he was consecrated, dedicated to the work of God. But he had a weakness. He probably had more than one.
Everybody has, I think, more than one.
So even a man that was raised to serve God and had been dedicated to serve God had a weakness. And that weakness made him lose his physical strength, that gift that was given to him by God. And his story is fascinating.
Awesome. And we're going to share a link below to a TV series that we enjoyed. It's called The Bible. And this episode is about Samson. So you'll get to see his story visually. I loved it because we read the Bible and we make a picture in our mind, but to actually see it moving in front of you is completely different. And you'll see his strength, and you'll see his weaknesses too, and how the Spirit moved with him and through him, and how his strength was given back to him when he needed it most. So watch it when you have time. It's a little long, but so worth it. So worth it. So we'll share that below. And his story can be related to all of us in different ways, right? If I always think of our strength as maybe our talents. Mm-hmm. So our talents are a gift from God. If we don't use our talents, we lose them. So, I always put myself as the example, the piano, playing the music every Sunday, every day. If I didn't use that talent to serve God, if I stopped playing, I would forget. I would maybe forget how to read the music. I would forget where the hands need to go. But because I serve God through that ministry with my music, I've been blessed with that gift, and it's still with me today. So think of your strengths. We all have them, even though you might not feel like that right now, or there are moments in your life where you don't know what your purpose or your talent is. You have to discover it. Sometimes it's whoever makes the best pot of coffee for merienda when we share downstairs. So that alone, the best cup of coffee makes everybody's day. So finding that talent, using it to serve God as your strength, and then share it with others. That's all part of it.
That's right. And so maybe at this time you're thinking, what talent do I have? And I don't want you to think it has to be a musical talent, that you have to be a singer, or that you have to be a musician. Those are talents, absolutely. But we all have been given gifts from God, things that you did not work to get, that are in you. The word that is used for that is innate. That means that it's something that came with you. So maybe you have a talent to make feel others better. So when someone is feeling down or is going through trouble, you have the gift of consoling people and lifting them up. And maybe as a friend, that's something that you do well when your friends are down. You are that one person that comes and makes them feel better. So don't think that a strength or a talent has to be something so unique. We all have them, and they are gifts that God has given us so that we can go through the world sharing those gifts and also allowing God to use them for the benefit of others. And then we have weaknesses too, because we are human.
A gift that I think some of us believe in our church is a gift that maybe the person doesn't feel it, is the gift of voice. You come with your voice is preset, but there's a specific person in our congregation that he's a tío to many of us, has a voice that when he reads scripture or reads a poem or speaks, it carries it makes you feel. And that's something that's innate to you. Your voice is something you come to this world with. You of course learn language, but to have a voice that is moving, that can narrate a story and move people to feel, is a talent and is a strength, a gift. So,
and that's a gift that our Antonio here at church has,
that's the Tío I'm
right?
talking about.
And I don't know if that Tío Antonio knows that is a gift, but that is a gift that he has. And sometimes we don't know the gifts that we have because we just don't feel that it's special, but they are. They are everything that God has given us that we can share with others, that make us feel good about who we are gifts. And then there are those things that we need to still work on to be strengthened in. And so we want you to, if you have the time this week, to really take a moment and look at the story of Samson. His gifts were physical, but he also had spiritual gifts that he forgot about. And when he forgot about those things, that's when he got in trouble. So I want you to this week think about, what are the things that you are good at? What are those gifts that you know you have, or that maybe you haven't discovered yet? They may be in you, and as you walk through life, you will begin to discover the many things that God has put in you as a person that you can use for your own benefit and for the benefit of others. And we should be grateful for those gifts. The other part of the homework this week is to look at, what is an area that I can be doing better in? What's that area that I'm not so strong in? I, for one, have to work at trying to control my sweet tooth. I have to make sure that I don't overdo it, right, when it comes to eating sweets, because I know that's not healthy for me, and that is a weakness that I have to apply discipline to it. Some other people may have weaknesses that are mental. Some people, their weaknesses that they worry about everything. That's a mental thing, because our mind will play games and will have us think of things that weaken us. So sometimes we worry too much, and we shouldn't do that. We should allow God to take care of our worries. Not that you don't worry, you feel your worries, you think about them, but you release them, knowing that God has a plan in place to make sure that your life flows, right? So we don't want to become a worrier. We want to be a warrior of God. not a worrier. So think about that.
And sometimes our weaknesses are completely within our control. I will admit, I am a procrastinator. And with school and work and now everything being virtual, we have the opportunity to maybe discover new strengths because everything is virtual. But at the same time, I've found that it's a lot of computer time and a lot of screen time, and my eyes get tired, and so I'm like, okay, I can do that later. Oh, I need to rest my eyes. I start making excuses, and my weakness becomes stronger because I procrastinate more. So time management is the strength to combat the procrastination. So that's what my newest weakness that I'm working on. Procrastination, but combating it with time management, which is completely on mine. But what I ask from God, please keep me on task, give me the strength to get through all of the work so that I can enjoy some free time, because I find that when I procrastinate, I no longer have free time to enjoy playing the piano, talking to my family, watching TV. It's all about that balance. So definitely finding the strength to help you combat your weakness, and realize that some of them are within you, that you have to do the work yourself.
And we want to conclude by telling you that God is working with you through your weakness. He said to Paul, the Apostle Paul, who had issues. Paul was a man, and some other time we'll talk about his issues.
That's another story.
Was a man of God, but he had weaknesses, and he had afflictions, things that bothered him and worried him. Mm-hmm. And so God told him, listen, it should be enough for you that I'm kind to you, and I will give you my grace, that my love is with you, Paul. That should be enough for you. And I want you to know, Paul, that I become stronger through your weakness. Mm-hmm. Because God always works through those things that we think are the least best in us, right? So God knows exactly how to do that, and he will lift you up when you think that your weakness is pulling you down. And to conclude, I want to leave you with it's a prayer that I'm sharing with you, but it's a prayer that comes from 2 Thessalonians, and it is chapter 2, and it's verse 17. And the word of the Lord goes like this: we pray that our Lord Jesus Christ and God our Father will encourage you and help you always to do and say the right thing. That the Lord may help you always to do the right thing, to say the right thing, but also to work on yourself so that you can strengthen those areas where you are weaker, and you can share the strengths and gifts that God has given you with those that are around you. And don't forget to catch Samson, the series from the Bible, which is a link that you're going to find below this message when you look in the description. Mm-hmm. Okay? God bless you today. Thank you for spending this time with us, and I hope that these messages, though they are brief, are helpful to you. We welcome your feedback, so please text us or call us or leave us a comment under this video so that we may talk about topics that you're interested in, and we can plan future activities and future conversations. God bless you all. We miss you. We love you. Have a great week.
Bye.